Okay, this lesson is lesson 5.2. Remember, we are in module 5. Module 5 is operations with decimals. And so we're going to start those operations with decimals in lesson 5.2, which is called adding and subtracting decimals. Okay, so let's first write in the problem that we are going to be adding. We're going to be adding decimals. We're going to add 3 and 12/100ths plus 4 and 7/10. Okay, and how do we do that? First, we are going to align the decimal points. Okay, what I mean by that is when we write the problem, so we're going to start by writing 3.12. We're going to make sure we line the decimal points up. So we're going to put the decimal down here, and 4 goes here, and 7 goes here. So that's what I mean by aligning the decimal points. So they're right on top of each other, and then we fill in the place values. Okay? So decimal points right on top of each other. Ones right on top of each other, tenths right on top of each other, hundredths right on top of each other. We line up the place values, line up the decimal points. So we are going to write zeros as placeholders. So this number, 3 and 12/100ths, has a hundredths place number. But this number, 4 and 7/10, does not have a hundredths place number. So we're going to fill that in with a 0. Okay? So now we're going to add from right to left. That means we're going to start with this side, the right side, and we're going to do 2 plus 0, which is 2. Then we're going to move towards the left. We're going to do these numbers. 1 plus 7 is 8. Then we're going to align the decimals so they stack 1 on top of each other. And then 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay? And the answer then is 7 and 82/100ths. And the reason it's 82/100ths is because this 2 is in the hundredths place. The 8 is in the tenths place. The 2 is in the hundredths place. So it's 7 and 82/100ths. Okay? Now, the last step is to check your answer. Is this a reasonable answer? Well, if we were adding 3 plus 4, so just remove the decimals, just the 3 plus the 4, we would get 7. Okay, so our answer should be, oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so my last step is to check my answer. So what I was saying, if I was adding 3 plus 4, just remove the decimals and just add 3 plus 4. Well, 3 plus 4 is 7, so I should get, my answer should be about 7 or approximately 7. This little squiggly line means about. Okay, I should get about 7. And I do. I get 7 and a decimal. All right, so it's a reasonable answer. All right, now, the next thing we're going to do is subtract. We're going to subtract the decimals. Okay, and we're going to pretty much follow the same type of steps, just a little bit different with subtraction, just a little bit. So what we're going to subtract is 165 and 1/10 plus, or no, I mean not plus, minus 160 and 2/10. Okay, we're going to align the decimal points first. Okay, so we're going to do 165, and there's the decimal point, and 1/10, and then we're going to align the decimal point here. The 2 goes here, 160. So we want to make sure the place values are stacked right on top of each other. And then we're going to subtract, and we're going to make this decimal point. And now we're going to write 0 as placeholders, but we don't really need to do that in this one. There's no reason to write a placeholder right here. Okay. So I'm going to subtract from right to left. So that means starting on the right side, 1 minus 2. Well, I cannot take 2 away from 1. Okay, I don't have enough up here. So I'm going to regroup when necessary. What that means is, since I don't have enough here, I'm going to borrow from the ones place. So I'm going to borrow from this and make it a 4 and put the 1 right here. Okay, now I have 11 minus 2. That I can do. I can take 2 away from 11. So 11 minus 2 is 9. Now I have my decimal going straight down. Now I come here, 4 minus 0 is 4. Okay. 6 minus 6 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So the answer is 4 and 9/10. That's almost 5. 4 and 9/10 is almost 5. Now I want to check my answer. Well, if I didn't have decimal places here, this would be 165 minus 160, and that would be 5. So my answer should be about 5, right? I should get about 5. Well, 4 and 9/10 is almost 5. It's very close to 5. So my answer is reasonable, okay? So the key to adding and subtracting decimals is to make sure you line up the place values and line up the decimals. So the tenths should be on top of each other. The decimals should be on top of each other. The ones place on top of each other. The tens place on top of each other. The hundreds place on top of each other. And then if you need to add a 0 for a placeholder, you go ahead and do that. So basically, you make sure you have lined up your decimals, okay? And that is how you add and subtract decimals.